Greetings, Inquisitors. I'm glad you found this holocron. I have a unique opportunity today. Did a video the other day with Philosopher, and he reached out to me with an offer I couldn't refuse. He said, I've decided that I'm actually going to work on my characters ahead of the Grand Arena lock-in. He's been sitting at 3.1 million galactic power, sort of waiting on his 4 fleets to get developed, and he was going to kind of bust into the next division in Grand Arena when he was ready with fleets. But with this new system, he's decided he's going to go ahead and invest those resources up front. And as he phrased it to me, he's planning to spend more resources at one time than he has ever spent in any game in his entire life. So catching that on video is just too good to pass up. So welcome back, Philosopher. How are we doing today?
I'm doing well. This is going to be something, that's for sure.
So when you're talking about massive resources, you're talking about massive resources, right? So let's just take a quick cruise through your squad here and just show people kind of where you're at, right?
You can see, by the way, you can just see the relic mats here.
Yeah,
right?
that I'm in the way here, so I'll have to move that up a little bit so people can see. But we're talking hundreds and hundreds of relic level materials, all the way up to relic 9 if he wants it. So yeah, it's really a lot. He's got some characters at gear 13 that he hasn't put relic levels on yet. He's got some teams that he's going to build up. He's got a fleet that he's going to build up. So just talk us through your idea here. Talk us through your roster, what you currently have, what you're going to build, and why you think it's important to build that for your next phase in Grand Arena.
Sure. So I started with SLKR Rush, and I did that, and I quickly realized, wow, for me, my opinion was, I know there could be a difference of opinion about it, but I thought I needed a wider roster. And so I went about, getting Jedi Knight Revan and building a Jedi team. Originally, this team had a different, I had different fifths that I cycled onto other teams. I had everything from, a lot of them ended up on the Padme team eventually, like General Kenobi, and I had, Jedi Knight Anakin. I had Ahsoka Tano. Shakti. They all ended up finding places elsewhere, and I just have Ezra there for now. My Sith Empire team, you say I built them and eventually got Malik to 7 stars. I have tried to keep, for the most part, my relic levels low. These are some of the early characters. I did have these 2 characters before I had SLKR, and so they're at 5. But for the most part, I tried to control it. You could see here, what I did is I had Padme at relic 0. Cat at relic 0. She's a new addition to the team. Once 5s moved off, I used to have 5s at the end. My thought process of building this was that I wanted to have a negotiator fleet, and so I built a negotiator fleet, and they were all pilots except for Padme, and that was my thought process. And I only recently put 2 relic levels on Kenobi just to beat the gas event. Since I already had all the characters completed, I might as well just throw some mods on and do that. I still have Ahsoka Tano at relic 0. I built this team,
and just for a second, just in case any viewers for this video aren't familiar with it, the reason why you would keep characters at gear 13 relic 0 like that is just to manage your galactic power for Grand Arena. In the old system, of course, keeping yourself in the right division and building these characters up at gear 13 was a very strong way to combine those 2 things, to build strong characters without building too much galactic power. Once you start putting high relic levels on them, it kind of blows your galactic power up quite a bit.
That's exactly right. Like this roster, I'm never going to have it quite this way again. I had it so carefully managed because prior to these changes, if you hit 3.1 million galactic power, you needed 4 fleets. So I basically was building as wide as I could of very useful teams, keeping them at R0 and just biding my time and collecting resources. I've been doing this for, I don't know, a couple months now. just sitting here waiting, and it really made. I mean, the last couple GACs, I had no problem. I think last time I was 37th, and that was just because I didn't do a lot of the feats because I haven't had all my characters built up. Stuff like Rogue One and so forth. But it was fairly easy to finish, high up with a roster like this. I think mods had a lot to do with that too. This was an example of a team that I didn't keep at R0. And the reason I did that, I used to have it at R0, but I brought them all up to get into a guild that said if I had a cam, I could have if I had created a team that could get a cam shard for them, I could get into a better guild. And so I agreed to do that. And this team is modded to get the cam shard. This team I kept even a G12, my CLS team, just to try to control galactic power for the reason you said. I have CLS at R0. I have the feeling this may change tonight as well. And then I have this, the Palpatine's an unlock requirement for SLKR, and I've built up Vader. But you can see I have Wat Tambor at G7. I have Thrawn at G11. I basically just have spare parts to go with them to be Geos or something like that, but keeping the galactic power low.
Yep.
My bounty hunter team, I tried to create. Jango Fett was a G12 to get Padme.
Yep.
He and Newt were enough to get me Padme. I did not build Geos at all, which is probably a mistake, but I got some questionable advice before I found your channel. But I had Bosk at G13 Relic 0 to control galactic power. This team, though, even with these low relic levels, is good enough to get me 2 Zeta mats in the Galactic Challenge, and then in the Conquest was good enough to get me. I got a red box in normal Conquest with the Bounty Hunter feats, even at this gear level, just with modding.
Yep.
He solos teams in GAC.
He certainly does.
He certainly does. And then I am Zeta poor on this, and that's, I think, was a consequence of whaling. And so I've actually tried to control the amount that I whale and the amount that I spend on gear. I focus on whaling on mods, because when you get whale too much on gear, which I did early on in this to get the SLKR, you end up with no Zetas. And so instead of putting Zetas on this team, as many people do, to unlock Malik, I just went with, I went G12.
Yep.
And then she's as low as I could make her, so I usually just throw in some other high-geared character here. I could put Droidica, maybe. We'll talk about that later. But right now, sometimes I'll put Veteran Han, even because I have him at Relic 3 from SLKR. This is my nest. My nest is only Relic 3 just to control galactic power, but she's got a lot of tenacity, 162%, and she solos teams very well. Even at Relic 3 with no Zeta. She does a very nice job of soloing a lot of teams. And then that brings me to some teams now that are a little sad. This is where I am at with Separatist droids. They are basically at level 50 with no gear, and they're basically just storage devices for extra mods because I run out of space for all the mods. Same with my Geos.
Yep.
And so I have a lot of mods. And then this is and then you could see the rest of the kind of the bottom of my roster here: Resistance, Phoenix, Ewoks to get C-3PO. And then these are just other configurations in my first order. My plan for today, to start with, we have a lot of resources here of all sorts because I've been storing up gear for a while. We'll see how far it gets me. But my plan for today is to get the Separatist fleet up and running. And so I would think the first step is to get General Grievous up to G13 and bring up his capital ship. And then my thought process is we'll work on the pilotless ships as well as the GOs. We'll start with the GOs that are pilots, get all of them up to G12 so I can put 6-dot mods on them. And then hopefully, I think I should have enough gear to finish off the Separatist droid team and the GOs with the idea being that I'll get gas because my next plan for my roster was to get JMK, Jedi Master Kenobi, which requires a Relic 7 Grievous, a Relic 5 Magna Guard for the cost of 3. And I already had the other characters built and ships built. So for the cost of these 3 characters who fit in the team anyway, sort of, Droidica not so much nowadays, I will have gas, and I already have the clones built. And then hopefully we can finish this team off. That'll give me 2 other strong teams. And then we'll see how much gear we have left over. We'll, at the very least, we'll have, as you saw, a lot of relics levels. We will be adding relic levels to a lot of characters, and we'll go through all those characters today as well.
All right. So now I've got a challenge for you.
Okay.
If you have all those resources, and what you're doing now is you're taking a roster, you said you built SLKR, and then you started to go wide, and you widened out your roster quite a bit.
Right.
So with all the resources that you're pouring in here, you're going to be close to gas.
Right.
Why would you not instead go for another Galactic Legend? Like all of those same resources could probably build you all the requirements for Galactic Legend Rey, for example. So what's the thought process behind going for a bunch of other stuff and not, let's say, getting your second Galactic Legend?
Well, in my mind, I am taking a radical step forward towards my next Galactic Legend. So I've made a decision. I'm just going to the journey guide here for a minute. I've made a decision looking at these Galactic Legends that I wanted to go for Jedi Master Kenobi next. Okay. And my thought process was that he's top of the meta. I've already unlocked Cat, Commander Ahsoka Tano, and I have her geared up and Zeta'd up, which is a big investment for me. And then I have his requirements synergized well with the Get 2 ships. I originally was focused on Negotiator, but then they had that wonderful event, and I actually used your video to store up days worth of energy. And so that really got me to the point where I have finalizers, or excuse me, not finalizer. I have Malevolence as well. And so my thought process was I already have Kenobi at G13. I already have I'll then would have General Grievous would go with that fleet. And then I already have Shakti, Grandmaster Yoda, and you saw I have Jango Fett at G12. And a lot of these other characters have some value to me. In other words, Wat Tambor would be good if he had more health. That couldn't hurt. Cad Bane will help me unlock the 7-star on my Millennium Falcon, which would be my 4th fleet. These are going to be good filler Jedi because I'm going to be running out of, characters. I need Jedi to go around. So if we have extra resources today, we're going to just keep going on this task. This guy's a pilot. Okay. We're going to keep moving on this path. But I like going for him instead of Rey. My thought is Rey is sort of further down the meta, and I don't really have resistance built at all. Like it doesn't really have as much synergy with what I've already built.
Okay. So you're widening out your roster, but you're doing it sort of with this idea that at least some of what you're widening is taking you toward your next GL.
Yeah. In fact, the only things that I'm building that do not directly get me to a GL are, a few droids, right, to get me gas, which I just think is a worthwhile trade in my view, because I think otherwise I have General Grievous in sort of like a halfway team, right? In other words, I if you look at my separatists right now, I basically have a mishmash, and they don't really synergize all that well or really do anything together very effectively. So if you look at them, they don't really do anything here. So having the Grievous droid team is a good team. It's useful for territory wars. It's useful for GAC, which I like GAC. And the Geos, I figure, is a cheap team to create because I already need the pilots. So if you're going to make 3 pilots, you might as well just build the other 2 and you have a team.
Yep, sure enough. Okay, well, let's get into it. Let's see these resources go flying.
Okay. So I'm thinking Grievous to G13 first. I mean, why not? He'll eventually be Relic. So we could just bring up to Relic 7 as well, I suppose.
Yeah, if Fleet's your priority, then he's got to be your priority. Let's
right?
yeah. I'm
Just
stoked.
start doing it.
This is going to be fun.
You can see it. There we go. It's just, we're going to continue clicking up. Well, he's not level 85. That's the problem. Fortunately, I've got a lot of credits. There we go.
All right.
I don't think I could speed this up. Okay. So far, so good. And we click.
All right.
There we go. And there we go. Now,
boom.
We'll bring this up to 7. I figure we'll do Omegas and Zetas at the end. We can talk about that at the end. I think for now we'll just keep everything at 7 for the ease of,
it's educational for people on Omegas because I hoard Omegas.
Mm-hmm.
So if you want, we can just talk a little bit about like the Omega level skills. And,
sure.
And I'll just
Happy
share with people kind of like my thought process.
So my understanding is that this is the most vital Zeta for the entire team. You could see this is where my account is a little light, is with Zetas. So I'm going to be saving before the next round I'm going to try to get to 3 Zetas or something before the next round. I figure we'll get the GP as high as we can. Yep. But you could see, I probably won't unlock gas right away or I'll have issues because I just don't have the Zetas.
Yeah, and I don't mean you have to spend the Omegas. I mean, just let's talk about it a little bit because there have been a lot of questions recently because I'm cheap with Omegas. I don't put them on nearly as much as other people, and there's a logic for me to it.
Okay.
But yeah.
So do we want to talk about the Zeta? You want me to just go from bottom to top?
Just as you're developing the skills, just stop at level 7 and we'll take a look at 8 and I'll tell you whether or not I would Omega the skill.
Okay, so this one is agrees a must Zeta for this guy?
That is the Zeta that he needs to be an effective team, yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, what about this here?
It's optional. It's good to have, but if you're Zeta poor, it's mid-tier somewhere.
Okay, that's good to know. I thought, okay, that's very good to know for me. I'm very Zeta poor.
At some point, you're going to replace that Droidica with a Relic Wat Tambor. If you're on the Kenobi journey, you'll have to Relic Wat Tambor. And, by the time you get him Relic, then you're going to want that second Zeta on Grievous. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Makes sense. What about this Omega here?
So this Omega... when you look at Omegas, to me, it's always about, does the skill change something about the way the character works? And this one, he gains 10% health for the rest of the encounter every time he uses that. His damage is based on his health, so if he gains 10% max health, he's gaining 10% max damage as well. So that's the kind of stuff where the Omega is really adding something to the skill. So that's an Omega that I would add. You don't have to add it right now, but it's definitely one that I would get.
That makes sense. Okay. What about, we got Grievous Wounds here. Well, that seems very good.
Removing 30% turn meter from all enemies is fantastic. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah.
Absolutely fantastic. And that's why I wanted to talk about Grievous because...
wow, some important Omegas here. Wow.
Yeah, indeed. And then this one, if the target was already debuffed, deal 30% more damage. You're not using your basic that much on Grievous. A lot of times if your droids aren't dying, then you have a huge advantage. If they are dying, then you're constantly resetting your skills and you're using the middle skills. So this one I wouldn't put on for a long time. It's good, but
yeah.
Exactly. If you're using your basic, you're already winning.
Should we do the Relic levels now or do all that at the end? What do you think?
Kill it. Just do it. Get it done.
All right, we're going to go to Relic 7 because we're going for Jedi Master Kenobi.
All right.
All right. Fallen Jedi lightsabers. All right. All right. This is one of the things I like his requirements because a lot of them are really useful, right? You'd already want to have him at a high relics just because he's a head of a capital ship.
Yeah, Kenobi has literally the most useful requirement characters out of all the GLs. I mean, Jedi Master Luke also has a bunch of good stuff. So,
Yeah, I'm thinking of trying to make him my third. I'm going to see if I can swing it. There's a lot of get currency that goes into it, but I'm thinking about it. It's a good thing I got a lot of credits here because we're going.
oh yeah,
This takes a lot of credits.
you'll eat them up in a hurry, especially if you have to level the characters. Leveling characters is a lot of money.
Indeed. All right, so we did it.
All right,
We did it.
one down.
All right. So do we want to activate the ships, or we will just do that at the end?
Your call. You gotta
Well, let's go. Let's just activate a ship here.
do what you're doing. We're just spectating.
All right. So I think we'll do the malevolence. I'm close to having it to 7 stars almost. I have the currency. I'm just sort of waiting for waiting for it to all come around. All right. So we'll activate the malevolence.
All right, that looks good.
Yeah. All right. Indeed.
I
So
love
I already
the
have a.
I love the look of that ship. It's so unique. It doesn't look like all the other ships.
Very menacing. I love it, and I already have a 7-star negotiator, so this one I think this will be a good combo. When I get into the new division and I have to have 4 fleets, these will give you 2 good ones for me.
Oh, fantastic!
All right, well now we're gonna do. I have a lot of ship. You can see I have a lot of ship credits or whatever. Okay, 9.9. We're good to go. All right, we did it. Now we got to work on these skills. I've saved up about 1,300 something prestige. It's not obviously enough to max out everything. So why don't we talk about, maybe can you direct me to which one I want to start with in terms of upgrading? What's the most important?
The passive up by Grievous straight to 8.
This here?
Nope. The passive skill that's by Grievous's face.
Oh, got it. Thank you. All right. So all the way to 8.
Yep.
No problem. See, I'm at 1335. And this has been a lot of saving on my part.
Yeah,
I don't know.
it's good. You can't get the top level skills until you get the 7th star anyway, so you'll be fine. You got plenty.
Okay, good.
I think this one is based on Grievous's level, so I think you can get 8 on this before 7 stars.
Oh, good.
Yeah, that's
all right,
good. That's fantastic.
Let's do that. Okay, you can see I'm already growing my galactic power quite a bit.
All
right, what's next now?
The basic take to level 4 and just leave there pretty much forever.
Oh, okay. Well, then you save me some prestige.
Yeah. So if you look at this skill, all it's going to do is gain damage, and at level 4 it gets 15% damage, so it comes off the base pretty well. And then at level 5 it resets down to a 5% damage bonus, and it's like, you're going to use this basic ability literally once per combat. Who cares?
Got it.
Yeah.
Yeah, not that important. All
Not
right,
that
good.
important.
What do I do next here?
Take a look at the middle skill.
This here?
Yeah. When you get to level 8 on that, it calls that target ally to assist, which is
wow.
It's pretty nice. It's not game breaking. It's okay, right?
Okay.
So this is one that you'll want to take all the way up eventually. I think you'll only be able to get it to 7 right now.
Yeah, until I probably by the time the next GAC round starts, I should be okay. But I think my impression is that the levels are going to lock in a couple days. I know that's a judgment call whether you go up before or after, and I chose to go up before to get the higher initial placement. So okay. And then go to one. Which of these?
Go to the ultimate next. Yep. And get that one all the way up to 7. Yeah. And every level is another 10% turn meter removed, and
that's good.
It's pretty good.
Yeah, wow.
And then in the last skill is good as well. But
Just
again,
bring it to 7.
yeah, and if you look at this, the way it's worded is weird. It says 15% extra damage on the skill, and then it's
Mm-hmm.
level 8 is 5% more damage. But
Mm-hmm.
that's the part of the thing that says it deals 5% more damage for each ally with overcharge, and that goes
Mm-hmm.
to 10% more for each ally with overcharge. So it's good,
Uh,
but I mean, again, it's one of those things you'll want someday when you actually
mm-hmm.
get like the ship to 7 stars.
Okay.
The first skill that you need to get up is that second skill, the one that gets the assist.
Mm-hmm.
And then I would do that one first, and then the alt, and then the area
This one
effect.
last.
Yeah.
All right. So,
And like I
okay,
said,
we now have a capital ship.
I would just leave the basic there forever. I wouldn't even bother with it.
Well, that definitely saves me some prestige. I've already benefited from doing this video. What ship do we want next? Vulture Droid? That seems very important.
Yep.
Right. Now, so this one I've already got up a little bit, mostly because I think of the hyperdrive bundle.
You get it at 5
Okay.
stars with the hyperdrive. Yeah.
Yeah, and I did.
The
I've been working to farm this and the hyena bomber. Okay,
the
I guess
middle
I'll
one.
get these.
The middle
Yeah,
one is called Discord Missile. That's absolutely critical to get that to 8, because
all right,
then
we'll just do it. Yeah.
that skill will inflict buff immunity, which is pretty much the way that you get around Houndstooth.
Okay.
So
well, then I'm glad you could see the limited omegas. I had 90 some. So okay.
Yeah, that's a massive skill.
All right.
Then the
What about
passive
this
here, this one is another one that the level 8 is just critical on it, because then when it gets destroyed, you actually get a replacement Vulture Droid.
Okay. Well, then we're gonna do this. All right. This is. You can already start seeing the amount of resources here. Okay, we'll use the 20 here.
Yeah.
This is the limiter for me is these omegas, which I never seem to have enough of. So
Yeah. Nobody does.
and then this one less important.
Nah, skip it.
Okay.
It's fine. I mean, it's
What about
okay.
and then we don't really need
You're
this.
never. Nope,
yeah,
you're never going to
be a
call him as a
replacement.
reinforcement. He's always going to be in your starting 3.
All right, and then we'll do hyena bomber. I'm a little short today of 6 stars, which is my original goal, but hopefully by tomorrow I do. But we can get him as far as we can today.
It's already functional at 5 stars.
Yeah, he'll do stuff. All right, let's get him going. I know this is a very important ship for this fleet, is what I've been told.
Yep. You've been told correctly.
All right. Well, almost at 6. Now we got a lot of work. We got to get this thing up to 85, which we'll do. All right. Done.
I can share with you that one of our viewers was having some problems with beating similar fleets with his hyena at 5 stars.
Mm-hmm.
And I helped him move around some fleet stuff and had him put the Houndstooth in the starting lineup and bring this in as a reinforcement. And then he went straight to number 1 on fleets. So this is actually, it's, let's say, understarred. You can actually use it as a reinforcement sometimes to pretty good effect.
So maybe I'll do that, huh? I can
Well,
bring these up.
No, I don't. Again, it's not going to be your primary fleet. So if it was your primary fleet, that's a trick you could use. But you've already got Negotiator as your primary fleet, so
correct.
You're fine here. Don't.
All right, let's bring these up. I'll bring these up to 7 at least, so then you can maybe talk about each one and whether they're worth bringing up. Well, I don't know if I can bring them up because I don't have it at high enough stars, right? Oh, I can.
Yeah, it's no problem. Dispels all buffs on the weakest separatist ally. That's good. You're going to want to get it someday, but again, it's a mid-tier kind of thing.
Okay.
It helps, but it's usually not what wins or loses.
Mm-hmm. This is I know this is when I'm facing this team. I hate this attack.
This don't upgrade that. Save your materials
Okay.
because um, the buzz droids are the big thing off of this. The
The
amount of
damage, not so
damage
much.
that it does is I mean, it's nice that it does damage, but those are, again, you can get them when you can get them.
Okay.
The passive allows you to ignore taunt. So that's
Okay.
the one that as soon as you get the ship to 7 stars, you got to get the 8th skill on this one.
All right. I'll leave this for now, I guess, because we may want to use these omegas in the
Yeah,
short run on.
exactly. You can save the omegas now, but that's the skill that you want to get to 8 as soon as you can.
All right, this is actually a great guide. It's a guide to building your separatist fleet on top of everything else. All right. So I know spy is probably the most important of these, right? We'll do that next.
In the Malevolence Fleet, Sunfac is the most important.
Okay. Well then, shows what I know. Well, let's activate that.
Yeah, he's one of your starting 3. So his ship, and actually, if you were to say, okay, I want the best Geo fleet, the first relic that you should invest in would actually be Sunfac for the purposes of the fleet.
Maybe what we should do is maybe bring this team up so that this way we can do these abilities all together. Does that make sense?
You can actually just click on the character right there.
All right, that's amazing. All right, let's bring him up now. I have some just filler mods. We can decide whether we want to bother with mods later because I have a ton of mod materials, slicing materials as well, but saved up. So let's see here. We'll just bring him up. As you said, it costs a fortune. So
It does.
That's okay. That's okay. That's what we're doing. That's the purpose of this particular video. Everyone gets to see me throw all these credits away. All right. The galactic power slowly inching up.
You said you had a lot of ship credits. You know somebody's going to post in the comment to the video here that they've got like 640,000 ship credits, right? They're 640 million.
A lot for me. It's a lot for me.
I know.
In my lowly level here.
I feel like I've got a lot of credits. I been able to keep up around 100 million credits. It seems to stay there on my main account. And I said that in one of my videos that I feel like I got a pretty good amount of money. And people are like, I got 900 million in the bank. And I got to admit, when I hear somebody say I've got 900 million, I think to myself, man, there's a lot of mods in the mod store that you could have bought.
Well, that's what I use mine on when I'm got too many, or I use it to explore. I over explore perhaps more than you would, on some of the left side mods. Yeah, I'm really into mods. So, all right, we're going to take him up, I think, to gear tier 12 so I could put 6E mods on him. Okay. What is your opinion of that move?
I would definitely take Sunfac to 12. Yeah, for sure. For the purposes of fleet.
Okay, we got to get him. So what's the problem here?
He's not 7 stars. Yep.
It's funny. All right. Not used to that with this game. I got to get used to that. That's right. I need the 7th star. But I do have them all farmed up, so that won't be a problem. We'll just keep doing our thing here.
And I can tell you, for me, from my point of view, I've used a lot of different fleets in Fleet Arena, messing around with different stuff. And the difference between a Gear 12 Sunfac or like a Relic 5 Sunfac in the starting fleet, it's like a step change in how hard this fleet is to beat.
Wow.
If it's placed defensively.
Well, this is where I'm doing. So, we talked about what sacrifices am I willing to make? And this is an example of me willing to make certain sacrifices, in order to have to do well in GAC and in Grand Arena Championship, but not to the expense, totally at the expense of my focus on the Galactic Legend. So, if I was just focused entirely in Grand Arena, I might want to create this super fleet here. But I figure G12's a compromise. It's good enough. to make these characters okay.
Yeah, you're not going to get him to gear 12 though. The upgrade button isn't there, so you've already got.
Yeah, that's a concern. We already got a shortage here. Well, we'll see. Maybe I'll spend some crystals just for the purposes of a video,
Sure.
or maybe I just have to craft.
Yeah,
this is going to be my problem here, huh?
Yeah, but I'll show you something. So just hang on before you go crazy with that. Okay.
Okay.
So don't lock that down yet. Okay.
Okay.
Close that out. I think in the middle on the right, middle on the left side, you need the same piece. Okay. All right. So just hang on now.
Wow.
Okay.
Wow. This is brutal.
So
I gotta tell you, that's the thing with this game. I gotta really plan ahead with this stuff. I thought I had so much gear.
Yeah, no, and it's weird little pieces like that, and you can't buy that piece. I don't think you just gotta either farm it or buy it out of the shops and stuff. So,
wow, and it's not even in. Here's the thing. Well, this might be in the shop. The salvage is not. Is that? It's not even. The salvage isn't even in the shop.
I don't think so.
And then
look for the
what
whole.
about
the whole piece?
The whole piece isn't in the shop either.
Yeah.
Wow. And that's the thing. So I'm coming to this, as you know, from another game.
Yeah. So you'll be able to.
That blows my mind.
Don't lock down either one of these pieces. We might need them for somebody that we care about even more.
Yeah.
So right now with him at gear 11, you should already be able to max out the skills on the ship.
And I'll bring these. We'll deal with. Let's go back to his ship. Yeah. Wow. Okay. Let's go here. So we're gonna.
And this is another one of those skills that's definitely worth maxing out. He has an ability to stun a ship, and
that's pretty good.
The top level, then the stun can't be resisted. So every time you click the button, unless they have foresight or something to dodge it, then it just is a stun.
Let me upgrade this ship to 7 stars as well.
All right.
One thing I hope that this teaches people is no matter what you do, obviously I've whaled out in this game, there's always bottlenecks in this game. and they create that purposely. So that's interesting. I mean, I'm like, oh, we're going to do this, we're going to do that. It's like, maybe not as much as you might think. All right, let's see. We're going to get this up to 7 stars.
Yeah, and now that they've made the gear changes, we're getting more the Carbantes and the stun guns and stuff out of the daily challenges. Some pieces of gear like that Mark 10 binoculars and stuff like that are becoming bottlenecks instead.
Yeah, because I was going to say, I looked and I'm like, boy, I have a lot of Carbantes and stun guns and so forth. So we're going to be. I didn't even think orange gear, purple gear was going to be the issue here.
Yeah.
But in fact, there is some. All right. Well, let's go talk about these skills here. So this one just looks like damage in terms of the upgrade.
Yeah, so you don't need to take 7 or 8 if you don't want to.
Yeah, we might as well save our omegas. We can go back. We can always circle back at the end. Well, we can do. Oh, this is just this.
That one's for free. Yeah, that one's for free. Well, not for free,
one.
But you know what I mean.
Yeah, I know what I mean. I have plenty of those purples. Okay, and then
and that one, if you don't want to put the omega on it, you never have to. It's a little bit more damage, but Sunfac is a tank, so it's kind of like, who cares?
Yeah, whatever.
And
we're gonna keep these two.
Yeah,
down.
That's optional.
All right. And then we don't need a reinforcement because he's not a reinforcer.
Yeah, he's going to start.
All right, so we got that. Now we'll go, I guess the next window is it spy or soldier?
Spy.
All right, we'll see. Let's work on spy the character here, see how high we can get him.
So as far as soldier goes, there's a lot of compositions where even if you put soldier in as a reinforcement, you're rarely going to call him in. With spy is usually your first reinforcement, and then there's a lot of interesting second reinforcements that you could bring in. soldier kind of gets left out in the end game.
Well, he's stuck at gear 10. Why is that?
Same piece.
That's the same piece.
Yeah, and I think there's going to be a duplicate of that piece in one of these other pieces of gear, maybe. Maybe not.
So you can see I've got a lot of other gear. Maybe it's in here?
No.
Huh. Well, do we want to hold off on this for now? Holding off bringing him to 11, or we'll just go back to it once we see where we're at with the others?
Yeah, I mean, you're not going to get the gear level on him now, so you can leave it there. And let's see how good we do.
Wow. Some ways it's easier to predict. We didn't talk, I should have mentioned this Omega here. This is his basic, though. It says it can't be evaded. That's kind of nice.
Yeah. His basic can't be evaded, and then his execute skill can't be evaded. So basically, you can't dodge the spy.
Wow. All right. Pretty good.
Yep.
So that first one on the basic, is that an Omega you eventually really want?
It's another one of those that's B tier.
Okay.
You eventually want it, but it's...
I get it.
You don't have to push it right away.
In the nice to have category.
Yeah. But Omega's like this one where it says add the hive mind bonus. For the Geos, adding the hive mind bonus is a big deal. So when you have Omegas to spend on your Geo team, those are the Omegas that you're going to want to get first, is get the hive mind bonuses on everybody.
So how does the hive mind bonus work?
The Brood Alpha gives all of your Geos the hive mind bonus. So it's if it's not, the Geo Brood Alpha is not in the team, then it does nothing.
Oh.
When the Geo Brood Alpha is in the team, then it does something. But we'll check when we get there. But I believe it's actually a passive on the Brood Alpha. It's not part of his leadership. It's part of the passive. So if he dies during combat, your Geos all just get really, really dumb, and they just kind of stand there.
I love it.
Yeah.
Okay. It shows how well I know this team. All right. I know how to beat it with Vader. That's as much as I know about. I mean, I know the gist of this team, but not a lot of the finer details. Okay. So these ships really bloat your GP quite a bit.
Ships in general really add a lot of galactic power. That is definitely true. Because you get hit with it twice, right? You build a character that's costing you 15,000 GP, and then the ship is another 35,000 or something like that. So, to build the character and the ship together is like 60,000 that you add to the account.
Wow. All right.
What GP do you think you're going to end up at when this is all done? You were at 3 million, just pretty much 3 million flat.
Yeah, I don't know. I want to get above 3.4 something so that I get into the next level, or so I get to the spot where I need the fourth fleet. But that may not even happen. We'll see. Think with all the relic levels, you would think so.
Yeah.
I also inflate GP quite a bit, right? So
yeah, I think you'll get to 3.5.
All right, so that was the idea. At least get into the next level so I can get more crystals, face some tougher competition. All right, so I need gear tier 11 for this. We'll save that for now.
Yep.
And then with this one here, we will...
Yeah.
This one, I think
even
this one we could do.
I think even as much as I use my spy, I don't think I ever Omega'd that under mine.
All right, so then that works for me. Yeah.
To me, it's bonus damage, but it's like, I don't know. the spy is either doing his thing and he's working and crushing stuff, or the extra damage isn't helping. Yeah. So this one, if you're using the Geo fleet just as the 3 Geos, this is a fantastic skill, because if the spy gets hit, then the soldier hides too. So it's nice, but since you're bringing in the spy as a reinforcement, and most likely you won't have the soldier in at the time, and you're just going to be doing this with the Malevolence fleet, you don't care if you ever Omega that.
Yeah, we'll let that be.
Yeah.
And then what's our reinforcement? Do we want to do this?
Yes. Yes.
Makes sense.
So this reinforcement is pretty much how the Geos win for the Malevolence. So your starting 3 are not... it spreads out your damage. There's good skills and all that stuff. But it's really when you bring the spy in as your first reinforcement, it puts taunt onto whatever you're targeting, which is probably Houndstooth or another tank. But with that reinforcement skill leveled up, it puts taunt on another random ship. So that allows you then to, get a taunt on some useful ship and target that instead. And when spy does the reinforce, calls the mass assist, you can pretty much annihilate any ship on the opponent's team.
Wow.
So you trade a reinforcement for a full ship. Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, no
Very
kidding.
strong.
It's interesting. I'm learning some of the mechanics just from talking this through with you.
Yep.
All right. So
All right, hang on.
There we go. So we're gear 11.
Yeah, I was going to say hold off on the gear 11 because you might not want to put it, but that's okay. That's all right. We got him there.
I got excited clicking.
That's all right. That's all right. It's fine.
Oh, well, we have gear 11. We'll add some more skills. It is what it is.
No problem.
His ship is his ship the least important of the 3?
Yes.
Oh, well.
It's not that. It's just whatever resources you took it to gear 11 might have gone on a droid or something instead.
That's a good point.
So,
although I guess at this point we'll see. All right, so we're gonna hold off on that for now. This doesn't seem super important to me.
Nah, ever. It's just a little bit more damage. Who cares?
Same with this on its basic.
Let me retract that. Okay, we're looking at the character here. Okay.
Just the character.
Yes. Okay. So if you go to spy and you look at his basic, the 15% damage here, even though usually I wouldn't go for an Omega on just damage, the Geo soldier gets turn meter when he gets a critical hit. So, and of course, when the Geos are attacking, they're always using their basics to assist each other. So that 15% damage is relevant over and over and over and over and over again every time he goes or every time his teammates go. When I'm actively running the Geos, most of the time when it's his turn, I just do a basic anyway because I want the tenacity down from it. So that's where the Omega can actually be good for damage because, that basic attack is pretty much all he ever does.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
So I did not understand that. Okay.
Yeah, his swarm skill can call somebody to assist, but a lot of times, like I said, I just want the tenacity down from his basic, so I use that a lot of times when it's his turn.
So I'm bringing you out to 7 stars while we're chit chatting about that, and then I figure we could talk a little bit about hive tactics here.
Yeah, again, that's one of the. If there's only one Omega you put on this guy, it's going to be the hive mind bonus.
Okay, those are, I guess, the key abilities here. Yep, 35% defense penetration sounds pretty good to me.
And that's for all Geos.
Yeah, that's really nice.
Yep.
All right, but we're going to save that for now. We're going back to his ship here.
All right.
And then now we can go hard here on this ability. You can definitely see we've already get 230 galactic power today.
Yep.
All right, so now what about this one in terms of Omega, ship Omegas?
So no, it's good, but again, he's going to be your second reinforcement, if that. So
Yeah, not important.
yeah, putting a lot of skills on your reinforcement that by the time you bring him in, you've pretty much already won.
Yeah, won or lost. I mean, at this stage, you're basically if you're if you're at the point where you're bringing your last reinforcement,
Well,
you're either
as you start to play out the malevolence, you're going to find this out, right? So the malevolence itself, when you play a special ability, it summons a free Vulture Droid. So imagine that you start with 3 ships in play. You play a special ability, and you get your 4th ship. You bring your first reinforcement in, and you've got 5 ships. Usually they'll have killed something by then. You use your special skill again, and you go back up to 5 ships. If your original Vulture Droid gets killed, it replaces itself. So with the Malevolence, you can easily find yourself with 5 ships on the field. The reinforcement is up, but there's no reason for you to call it. You can't bring in a 6th ship.
So just run out of space.
Yeah, so with Malevolence, the reinforcements are a little bit goofy, and I've done it before where I have 5 ships on the field and I do a special ability, and I'm like, man, I shouldn't have done that because I don't get my free ship. There's no reason to use the special ability.
Do we want to put the reinforcement ability on this?
It's a good reinforcement ability. It's good to have it. But if you're running out of materials and credits, I look up top, you've only got 3.42 million credits left. So I wouldn't do it. For now. Yeah, exactly. Get all the other stuff that you want to get done and then come back to it later.
Makes sense. We're fortunately, I think this is the last ship I plan to bring up today, I think, unless there's more to the Separatist fleet. So that's good at least. All right. So then this one, is this a must Omega?
Nah, just leave the soldier alone because he's like, C tier in this team compared to everybody else.
All right, we'll let him. Oh, I'm glad that caught me there.
Yeah.
Okay, so there we go. So I think we now have. Oh, yeah, we have. This is my fully functional team. Very soon we'll get him to 6 stars. We'll be getting Malevolence to 7 as soon as it comes back. I got to wait for the shop to come back around. But this is reasonable, but obviously was hoping to have some G12 Geos, right?
Yeah. I mean, you're only one piece gear away from that, so you farm some of those up or buy them out of the shop or whatever, and you'll get those guys up no problem.
Yeah, so that's now my Geo team. I guess we should... do we want to bring up Geo Brood Alpha and Poggle, or just so we have complete the team, and before we worry about these guys?
Yeah. Let's work on the Brood Alpha.
Okay, he's the most important. We've clearly established that from our conversation thus far.
Yeah, and if you want to save
she, right? I should say it's a she, right?
No, I think it's a male.
Oh, okay.
Of course, who knows? Maybe these bugs are like...
it's like a queen? That's what I was thinking. She's a queen bee.
No, so alpha typically, like alpha wolf or something like that, you typically associate with a male role. So we assume the queen is sitting around somewhere else, I guess.
Chilling out, eating grapes or something?
Yeah, there's... have you ever heard of the game Warhammer 40K?
I heard of it. I never played it, though.
Yeah, there's a race in there called Tyranids, and I can't help it, but a lot of times when I see teams like this Geo team or whatever, I automatically think of Tyranids, and that's kind of how they work. They have these, the biggest guys are the leaders, and they have a hive mind bonus that they give to their crew, very similar to this. So these guys always make me think of Tyranids. Yeah.
All right, we'll bring the Brood Alpha up, whatever gender identity the Brood Alpha has. All
right. We'll give him a they.
There you go. All right. What happened? Oh, he's level 50. So all these characters, because the mods unlock at level 50
Take him up to like level 72.
only.
You save some credits here.
I got it. Oh, okay. If you say so.
Yeah, I may be wrong, but I just want to take a look at something.
And just keep upgrading here. We gotta obviously we don't want to gear 6.
Yeah, I mean he's got to stay alive, so get him up to gear 8 if you got the resources at least.
All right, we'll bring up the skills to 7.
Yeah. Well, I think some of them you may not get to 7 because we only took him to level 72. So I just want to see how far we can get him like this. Okay.
So this one we got him at 7.
And again, a lot of these Omegas are good.
Yes, they dispel all buffs on all enemies. That sounds amazing.
Yeah, it's they're good Omegas.
Yeah, I tend to what I tend to do is I put a Zeta on and then see how many Omegas I have left, and then that's when I do my Omegas. And I usually try to complete one team at a time. So right now I think I'm just finishing up the CLS team. So, whatever Omegas I have left over, I was planning to put on Grievous team for now, just because I was going to work on the gas event. But we'll see, how far we go. Although I still have 35 million of these credits, so
yeah,
I'd like to think that I still am in the game. Although we're going to do some relic levels, and I know those are expensive as well.
Yep. Okay, that level right there where you get 13,000 max health and protection is amazing, right?
Yeah, that's pretty big. This one seems pretty good too. This basic abilities. No.
Nope. I
think you don't use basics all that much, right?
Yeah, I think I had my Brood Alpha on my main account was probably a year and a half before I applied that second Zeta.
Okay.
This one is the one that's important because
the Brute.
It summons the Brute at the start of the battle, which is a pretty big deal. So that's the one you're going to want to get for him.
Okay. Well, you want me to leave it here at this level for now and then go to the next one?
Well, I'm just recommending that to keep your credits in the bank.
All right, let's do that for now. All right.
And same thing with Poggle. You can put him at like 72 or 74. That'll save you some money, and it'll still let you get the skills up, and your Geo team will be functional enough.
Enough that they're going to have to use certain specialized counters, right? They're not going to just be able to throw in their whatever.
Well, missing that Brood at the start, without that Zeta, the threat level on that team goes way down.
So are we talking Ewok level?
Well, imagine that they go faster than you and they just kill your Brute or kill your Brood Alpha. Then you never get a Brute in the first place.
It's pretty brutal.
Yeah, so that's kind of the need for that Zeta is pretty high.
I'm not going to put leader here because I don't really need his leadership.
Exactly. Now
I guess that's old way of thinking, but at least saves me some credits.
No,
that's for GB bloat purposes. I always would keep these leaderships at 1.
Yeah, so in 3v3 version of Grand Arena, he can lead a team. So eventually, if you get some, a wild separatist floating around, Brood Alpha can do like Spy Soldier Brood Alpha. And then you can do like Poggle leading a team with, let's say, something crazy like Dooku and Droidica, stuff like that, and make these funny little stealth teams or dodge teams or stuff like that. And then Poggle's leadership comes into play.
I just realized I hadn't promoted him up, so let me do that.
And then I thought you were doing that to save credits. That's 1 million credits you don't need to spend right now.
Okay.
You can get that later.
All right, I'll get it later.
Yeah.
Shows what I know. All right. He's the least important Geo, I take it, Poggle?
So his basic ability applies ability block.
That's nice.
And
it's good for if they're against certain enemies, I'm sure. who could really screw up a Vader team if he was fast enough or something, I guess. But
Yeah,
I would imagine, these three are pilots, and then he's or she or whatever they is the leader.
Yeah, so when you're in like the territory battle for the Wat Tambor shard and stuff like that, the way I play it is I go from character to character. All of the guys that have area effect skills to use against me, I ability block them so that they can only use their basic, and it makes the Wat Tambor mission like pretty much a give me. So even though Poggle's kind of like the least meaningful of the Geos, that basic skill, putting the ability block on, is kind of how I play them. It's not what everybody does, but it works for me. I just block out all the area effect skills, and then you don't die, and you can always complete the Wat Tambor mission that way.
Interesting. All right, well, so let me ask you kind of where we want to go next here. One thing we could do is focus on relic levels next, and then go back to this team, or we could use our credits on this team to get this team functional. And I know that if we use the Metalloid Monstrosity Zeta, we kind of have them at different gear levels, and it will, when they die, that'll at least get turns for Relic 7 Grievous and make that a threat.
Yep.
So what do we want to do with that in terms of our next priority, do you think?
Let's do relics and see how the money looks after all the relicking that you want to do.
All right, let's what I figure I'll do is we'll sort by power so we can see the big characters at the top. So my first thought, one thought I had just to kind of walk down here is I thought I'd bring her to Relic 7 because she's a Jedi Master Kenobi unlock, but I don't think it's essential in the short run. So we could wait on that. But I don't, if we're trying to reserve credits, although I didn't think I was going to run out of credit. Run out of credits. But we could circle back to it. Some of the ones I think are the most necessary is I probably should bring him up to Relic 5. I don't see any reason not to. I have so much Relic mats.
So what I would consider, you've got Cat with Padme, and that's a fantastic team to do Phase 1 Challenge Rancor. So I don't know what team you're using in Phase 1.
I use SLKR, but yeah, I could use. Although see, the thing is, my guild has that on farm, so I'm mostly thinking selfishly here because I already do pretty well.
Yeah, does it get you better placement? That's and so then getting those characters to Relic 5 would be something that I would look at.
I was going to bring her to Relic 8. What do you think about? Because doesn't she share her stats?
Let's do that right now then.
Okay, well, let's just do that. That was my thought. Isn't she one of the best characters in the game? That's my impression.
I figure she adds a lot. Where you put her, she adds a lot. Yeah.
Yeah, I heard that this Padme Cat team could beat some Galactic Legends. So I'm like, okay, I've got a pretty well modded team.
Yeah.
She's not quite as good. She's the least. She's like 310 something speed, I think only. But
I think that needs a Relic C3PO too, maybe if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, the Padme Cat team can threaten Galactic Legends.
Okay, so because you could see I have so many Relic mats. It's not. I don't think I'm going to run out of. There's any that's going to run out. It's going to be the carbonite circuit boards.
I run out of bronzium wiring all the time. It's that second material there, the bronzium wiring one.
Yeah, either be that to me or that or the boards. Man. Yeah. All right, we'll just take her to Relic 8. Do you agree with Relic 8, or would you go Relic 7?
Mine is Relic 8.
Oh, okay. Well, then
I did the same thing. I just went straight to Relic 8 with her.
Yeah, this character is ridiculous level.
Do not pass go, do not collect 200.
Pretty much. All right, so there we go. And my guild actually gets these in territory war now, the arrow magnifiers, so these are plentiful. All right. Well, it's going to make my roster a lot stronger now. All right.
Yeah,
so
she's fantastic.
Yeah, she could be better. She only 326 speed. But
I actually slowed mine down. I had her going super fast, and I found that slowing her down worked better for me.
all right, yeah, it shows what I know. All right.
I
Well,
think if you
we can
have
talk
her,
modding at the end.
if you have a Jedi Master Kenobi team, then having her go super fast is important because he can reset the cooldowns,
Mm-hmm.
and the faster she goes, the faster she can just annihilate somebody, right? So
Yes.
so on a Kenobi team, yeah, you'd want to swap around mods and get her as fast as possible. But in the Padme version of the team, she worked better for me, slowing her down a little bit.
All right. Well, let's look. Why don't we look at that Padme team here? And I'll talk to you about what I was going to do with the rest of the team. So Kenobi to Relic 8 because I need him. He's the pilot of the capital ship, and I need him for Jedi Master Kenobi. Does that make sense?
Yeah, what I would do is what's in the order of importance for you. So, what do you think is going to get you the most wins in Grand Arena? And just work your way down your list of characters by who you think is going to get you the best bang for your buck. That way, if you run
Yeah,
out of anything,
we're good.
yeah, exactly.
So here are some of the characters that I was looking at. We could talk about what's the most important. I agree, Kat. Boy, she's going to make this because with the stat sharing, she's going to make this team a lot better.
No brainer.
Right. Now, to me, the other characters that, I mean, I do like all three of these center characters because in my mind, they're all pilots on my best fleet. And so, particularly Jedi Knight Anakin, he's got that huge damage in a ship. Taking him to Relic 7 was my thought because eventually I'll get C at some point. General Kenobi, I thought Relic 8 because I'm going for Jedi Master Kenobi. And the other character that I thought getting him to Relic 5 would be good, at least for the chat sharing. I thought would make this team a lot better because 3POC here would share his stats.
Yep.
That was another character that I was thinking of.
Yeah, I agree with that. So for me, I would probably do Anakin to Relic 7 first, knowing that that's your primary fleet. Because his ship is really... I mean, let's be honest, the Negotiator is a fantastic capital ship, and Anakin is the ship that does most of the work. So
right.
It's those two ships that make the fleet.
Yeah.
So I would do him to 7. And then I would probably, and this is just me, if you have enough materials, I would probably Relic 8 Grandmaster Yoda.
Before that.
Yeah.
That's interesting. That's interesting. Okay, I mean that is definitely. I certainly have the materials. That's interesting though that you think Yoda first, because I guess your thought process is that damage is going to transform that Jedi Knight Revan team, huh?
You got it. Yeah. So the Jedi Knight Revan team is just the call Yoda to assist team, right?
Yeah, I was thinking of getting a couple relic levels to Jolie as well, and to Revan, bringing them to R5. What do you think about that?
It's completely secondary. It's not part of your JMK journey. It's not part of your fleet. So to me, I'd park them at Relic 3 until you need it someday.
That's interesting.
But again, I like this team for offense. I'm rarely ever going to put it on defense.
Same.
I'm in control of the matchups, and the difference between Relic 3 and Relic 5 when you're controlling the matchup is not a big deal.
So I'm not as good of a player, so occasionally my Jolie dies. I mean, not often. I have him pretty well modded with tenacity and crit avoid and everything, but man, I mean, it's just, what happens sometimes if I'm out relicked on the other team, like if I'm trying to punch up on a Grievous squad or something, I just don't think I know the kits well enough.
Hey, it happened to me in a GAC a couple seasons ago. Just got some RNG and they just hit and hit and hit again and hit, and it was like Benda was dead. Fantastic, I guess I lose this round, lose this battle anyway, right?
Yeah, so no kidding. Well, if we're doing that, if we're going to focus on requirements, then I think Kenobi's got to be next, right? He's R8 for JMK,
and he's your capital ship. He's captain of your capital ship, so definitely. Yeah. But if, like, let's say we get him stalled out at Relic 7, you're still fine with that. Like, I would rather have the Relic 8 on Yoda first. Yeah.
Interesting.
Well, at Relic 8, he hits so hard. like that Grievous matchup changes just because Yoda he hits that much harder.
Wow.
See,
Okay, now you're getting me excited about playing these characters. Okay.
yeah. So I've been wanting to commit more resources to my Yoda for a while now, and it's like on my Loquitur account, I'm like gonna hit Yoda hard.
Isn't it crazy that we were putting all this stuff on here? My bottleneck is some random purple gear on this account right now. All right, so Kenobi will bring to Relicate. All right. This team's going to be a lot better. Okay, you see, there we go. We got another requirement off
Boom. Nice.
Off our plate. All right, now, this team's looking a lot better. Wouldn't it make sense for me to bring her up to Relic 5 since she's a pilot and she hits a lot in this team? Ahsoka here?
I would do CLS first.
Yeah, that's true. CLS, those stats get shared. That's a big deal. And he'll eventually be an unlock as well. So that's my thought process on it. Plus, fairly cheap to get these first 5 levels, although I guess the circuit board eventually runs out and the Bronzium.
Yeah, and the stat sharing is absolutely monstrous. So with the Chupio in the team, the higher relic you're willing to take Luke, 20% of that goes to everybody. So
this is what he needs for the relic for the unlock, right? For Jedi Master Luke, if I recall correctly, right?
I didn't see a thing come up yet, so
yeah. Well,
we're not on that journey anyway, so never mind.
Yeah, but let's see. I'm just gonna check here because that's what was my thought process, is that eventually, to me, although I'm not going for Jedi Master Luke yet, if you know you're going to do this anyway, then you might as well. Is Commander Luke Skywalker not on here? Oh, guess not. I guess he's only needed for Jedi Knight Luke.
Who's needed for, yeah.
Yeah, which you need. So let's see. Oh, you need him at Relic 3. Okay, but recommended Relic 5. All right, well, whatever. We got Relic 5, which will make him, like you said, really good for GAC. So another character that we could think about here is Bosk. I have Bosk at Relic 0. I mean, he's got an awesome ship, but the team is not as important for me. Help me in Conquest.
It's a good character.
It's a good character, right?
It's a fantastic character. Yeah, absolutely.
So in terms of who are my other characters that I was thinking about, okay, obviously one of my thought processes, of course, is going to the droids. We could just go to the droids now because I want to get Magna Guard to Relic 5 for the JMK unlock, and then getting up those other two B1 and B2 is important, although I may run into purple gear problems depending on what they need, if they need that specific piece or not, which I don't know.
Okay. So the way that I have my Grievous team built, I have a big Grievous and just garbage droids with him.
Mm-hmm.
And it already sometimes gets holds and steals a lot of banners from my opponent. So getting
with that Zeta,
getting the Grievous team to the appropriate level for gas is one thing, but I mean, you already have a functional Grievous team, even with the droids at garbage level. It'll already be a defense in Grand Arena for you.
Okay.
So let's just let's think about the CLS team. So
okay.
If you've ever fought against CLS, in general, you pretty much have to kill Chewbacca first.
Mm-hmm.
If you want to take out the CLS team, you got to kill Chewbacca first. Now, in this team, he's going to be guarding Han, and since your CLS is relic level, he's probably going to be guarding 3PO and Chewie, assuming that they're the weakest out of the group.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So when you look at your squad, let's look at your squad for a second. And you want to always make sure that you have the Chupio on the end, which you do. That's good. Would you consider, don't do anything, just would you consider taking Chewbacca to relic level?
So I was planning on it, but given that I've had some bottlenecks that were unexpected, part of the fun today is I was like, okay, we're bringing a ton of characters up to relic level. This has been a learning experience for me because I thought I was going to bring all my Geos to G12. So I think I want to bring Chewbacca up to relic level. It's also going to be a pilot for the Millennium Falcon, which will be my fourth fleet. That Rebel fleet will be my fourth fleet. I figured I'd have a large Millennium Falcon, smaller other ships, and it would do some stuff. I mean, I'm not saying it would win, but it would force the enemy to commit a reasonable fleet to defeat it, just because the Millennium Falcon seems like a very good ship to me. But my thought process is that I get more bang for my buck getting gas than I do.
All right, well,
let's
get on in there and take a look at that stuff then.
Yeah, do you agree with that? Do you disagree? Because my thought process with gas is, I got the clones. That means I can move Shaq T out. I could have him solo a team. I can start. I could put him in another team if I want to. It gives me another Galactic Republic Jedi who's very strong. What do you think?
I think there's a million right answers in this game. So it's just short term versus long term versus what's your plan? What are you doing? So if you want to work on the droids first, that makes sense to me. Ahsoka Tano is, if you face the wrong team with her at low relic, she'll die.
Right.
But is it worth putting relic levels on her over other characters? Maybe take her to relic level 3 and just leave her there. So
for right now, we'll start there.
Yeah. So it's just, a little bit more life and keeps her alive a little bit longer without throwing away some of your better resources.
I mean, yeah, this seems to be like not my bottleneck right now. Ironically, it's random purple binoculars, which is just part of the mania sometimes of the game here. Okay,
and Pat,
it's interesting because I think part of what people can learn from is how you look at these choices. I mean, one other option would be to bring her to Relic 5, Padme to Relic 5, and I've got a full team for CPIT, right?
Yeah, that's what I was asking you, because it's a good first phase team. And if you wanted to improve your placement, you could do that. Padme is very functional even at Relic 0. She doesn't need a lot. But if you're going to start putting relic levels on Padme also, then you've got to say, well, as soon as I start relicing up Padme, then I'll just take the whole team to 5 and have a CPIT team. So it's kind of that
middle
snowball effect.
It makes sense. I mean, what I could do right now is put Grandmaster Yoda as the leader or something, when she didn't have great leadership, or somebody else, and I can mix and match. I don't know, or bring. Yeah, I'm just trying to think who would my 5th Jedi be, but I've got currently, 1, 2, 3, 4 members of that team. I mean, it's an interesting dilemma. You have any thoughts on that? Because Grandmaster Yoda can swap in.
I would
really do need a leader.
I would leave your Padme team alone right now. So if you're saying you don't need it for CPIT, then just leave it where it's at, and let's go work on those droids and see how far you can get toward that gas requirements.
Yeah. So let's see here. Let's take a look at the droids. I guess should I just let me bring them to 7 stars first and see sort of where they are?
Yeah.
Okay. Which one do you want to start with? What do you think makes the most sense? Magna Guard because he's an unlock, or one of these others? I mean, I think B2 and B1 are more important.
B2.
Okay.
Yeah, B2 is a tank, so you want to get as much stuff as you can on him. B1 is a massive damage dealer, but he also can be functional as a healer and stuff like that with complete garbage. Because he's got a different mechanic. He doesn't have life. He has stacks of droid battalion. I don't know if you're familiar with the way that works, but
I'm slightly. In other words, I face it and I have to kill it. But that's about it. Yeah, I've never had one of those teams. I've never built troopers or him.
Yeah, so he'll have 50 stacks even if he's
Level 1.
trash tier. Yeah.
So I'll bring him up. You want me to stop at a particular gear tier?
Yeah, go for 9, and let's see how that looks. If you still got green pluses, then we'll see if it makes sense to go to 10.
Yeah, we could bring up another one too. Let's see.
Okay, you still got the upgrade button. Look at the middle one on the right-hand side. How many of those do you have? Yeah, you're looking good there. Yep. I'll go ahead and hit him to 10. See what 11 looks like.
Same.
Still going. Yep. Let's do it.
Something. I'm short on something.
Yeah, I think it's going to be the
binoculars. Whatever they are.
Yeah, middle. Yep, that one.
These dang binoculars. Yeah. Wow, they're in high demand.
Now,
the hollow table.
The funny thing is, if you look at those binoculars, you can see that they're needed for exactly 3 characters.
You're kidding. And they're all separatists?
Look at the bottom.
Oh, wait, how do you know? Okay, wait. How do you...
Look at the bottom bar.
Oh, my God.
Also needed by...
Those rando characters, the same ones I'm trying to build. It's like a separatist equipment.
It's the 3 guys you're trying to build.
Unbelievable.
And that's it.
Wow. Well, we got to go with Gear 11 with the tank. We might as well just bring up his abilities. I guess one thing that's nice is it brings us droids at different levels. So then they're going to have trouble, right? They're going to try to defeat one.
That's the key. You need them to die at different times to get Grievous's triggers at different times. Yeah.
Yeah. So that will happen here because we're going to have like a low B1 and, we could throw Newt in, as the 5th character because I have him at Gear Tier 9 or something. And then, we'll have I think Magna Guard's a G8 or something like that. So this could work out for now.
And Newt triggers him twice.
Oh yeah, because he dies twice. That's great. No wonder he's very popular as the 5th on this team.
Yeah, he's popular because he is super annoying. Extortion is such an interesting mechanic.
I got so many defensemen in 3v3 with him as my leader, and I think I had him, Django, and Nest or something like that. And and people had so much trouble dealing with that. How are these? So this Omega, it's not very important as a tank, right?
Nah.
Just looking at these
the mow down,
so we can learn.
Yeah, the buff immunity chance, the added buff immunity chance takes it up to 80%. That's a pretty big deal.
Mm-hmm.
Relentless barrage. Target locked enemies lose critical chance. So it's good to have eventually, but again, to me, it's kind of a B tier thing.
This looks good.
Yeah, and this Zeta is kind of part of the engine that drives the turn meter that makes these guys go crazy. So you'll want that someday.
So for the event, what would be, so let's just talk about, so obviously the first Zeta I'm going to apply will be the Metalloid Monstrosity just to make this team work. But for the event, the Zetas I need are what? I assume I'm going to need that one from B2.
I think you don't have Grievous in the event, right?
Correct. So you're going to have Asajj, who I want to invest the least amount possible in Asajj and Droideka, and then invest the most in these 3 because they're going to be they're going to actually be on a team. So whereas I'm not going to build Night Sisters anytime soon. Like Droideka and Asajj are just sort of.
So if you're going to Relic Magna Guard anyway for the requirements for Kenobi, so that's already kind of a done deal. The B1 battle droid is insane. He is probably, as far as a Relic character goes, the amount of damage that he can put out and his value to the team is just off the hook. So that character it's really, I think, the most important character in the team in a way.
So maybe bring him to Relic 5 or something like that. I mean, I was thinking of bringing these two characters to, like, all three to Relic 5 to just try to mow down the event with, like, as low of a droidica as I can, like G12 with no Zeta, Asajj, G12 no Zeta, that sort of thing, or G11.
If you relic those,
whatever.
if you relic those three, then I don't even know that you have to do anything with droidica.
Yeah, I mean, well, I think you have a minimum GP you need.
Oh,
That's
right.
what I'm
Yeah.
saying.
You just leave
Yeah.
him.
Also, I'd love to keep him here. Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just put him in the corner and call him a bad dog. So on the B1 battle droid, the Zeta there is going to double his stack, so he starts with 100 stacks instead of 50, and that's I think probably the second Zeta that you want on this team. And I'm not a Grievous expert, so there's probably other people who would give you better advice than I would on this. Because, like I said, I just use him as a defensive banner stealing team. I haven't really worked on developing my Grievous skills. But to me, it feels like the Grievous Zeta is critical, and then that B1 battle droid Zeta is a pretty big deal.
So this is interesting. I imagine these folks need the binoculars as well. Although we could try to bring him up, or do we want to sort of not bring up others? Because for right now,
well, Magna Guard needs a piece that you might be able to find in the shops. So if that
right, so maybe
syringe,
should I just bring him up then? Should I just?
Well, take a look at that syringe, and before we throw away 4 million credits on him,
okay,
take a look at that.
This here?
Yeah.
Oh.
See if we can find that somewhere.
Yeah, okay, so let me try to find that. All right, so.
Okay.
Okay, so yeah, this I could get in the shard shop. And that's it, huh? Not in the shops anywhere.
Yeah, look for the completed piece just for a second.
No.
Bummer.
Wow. It's interesting how this random stuff.
So yeah, there's no don't waste your credits on him yet, because we're not gonna find that piece anywhere. No matter what. Let's just work on B1. Let's see what we can get for B1 over here.
All right, I'll promote him up.
Yeah,
you agree?
Absolutely. Rock and roll. I should have said Roger.
Roger.
That's fantastic.
All right. There you go. Oh, I got something. Okay. All right.
It's a thing.
Yeah, it's a quest or these quests. I don't even. It's hard to keep track of them. I don't really know what they.
Me either. I'm the same way. I don't actively go after the quests, and then they just randomly pop up, and I'm like, hey, I got a thing.
Exactly. All right, I'll bring his level up here.
It looks like he's going to be stuck on the same gear.
Oh, the binoculars or something?
No, that same syringe that you were looking for there.
Yeah. Unbelievable. I'll bring up his skills.
They need the same gear. These boys.
Well, I'm glad I did this a day or two early. You never know. Maybe one will pop at the shop or the shard store or something. It's at least good to know what you need. I find it in these games, and they do this the other game I play too. They make it so there's no inventory. They make it hard to track. And this stuff, you can certainly use stuff like msf.gg, but it's they don't make it easy purposely for you to track this stuff.
Yeah, the scavenger is about the closest thing we have to a gear inventory. But you would not believe how many times I've thought the same thing. Like, I just want to open up a screen and be able to see all of my gear inventory. I just want to be able to look at it.
Yeah, they want you, I think, to not know what you have, so then you feel compelled to wail.
Yeah.
I imagine.
Well, go down to Droid Battalion for a second. Let's take a look at that Zeta. So that's the one where he gets 100 stacks of Droid Battalion. Now, when you go to mod this guy, just be aware that he cannot score critical hits. It looks like you're good. You're good. You got offense and potency on him. So yeah, you understand.
Yeah,
You
I'm gonna
understand.
work on. Yeah, I did put some effort into learning the mods. I have more mod. I mean, we could do some slicing and stuff here, but I got those. But maybe we focus just on gear and relic
Yeah,
mats here.
yeah. No, I just more. I'm just saying that for general knowledge for anybody who's watching the video.
Yeah. Now
Because
let's see
I've
here.
seen you won't believe how many times I've seen that guy modded either with like crit damage mods or with a crit damage triangle, and it's like you can't crit.
Wow.
Why are you putting a crit damage triangle on this
Well,
guy?
let's see if I did put crit damage offense. Nope,
It's
I didn't.
offense, yeah.
I learned. Yep, I knew what I was doing. All right. Do we want to add any more relic levels since that isn't gear reliant, or we could just do something like just press click here on Chewbacca and make that team a lot stronger.
I would relic Chewbacca. I would.
All right, we'll take him to relic 6 since that's what we need for the upgrade. So we'll do that. So you could see on this team, I need a lot of the Zeta or the Omega still. You see, I've gotten a bunch of them on Han Solo, and then I have them all in CLS, but I'm still missing Chewbacca's Omegas.
Do you need them? Do you need them because you need them, or do you need them just because they're there and you're clicking on them?
That's what I mean. Correct. They're there.
Yeah.
I just mean they're there.
Yeah. So let's go through Chewie just for an example, real quick on his skills.
Okay.
So if we go to his
max that one. Okay, basic damage, you don't need that. He's like a tank, right?
He assists the guys that he's guarding. So that can be relevant someday. I mean, it's good, but again, it's win more kind of a thing. Pulverize. The attack ignores defense. Again,
it's good, but I guess it's all about about the dispelling anyways, right?
Yeah, exactly. So you've got him modded for tenacity. You're doing like a gas counter style build on him, I guess. So that little extra damage, how big of a deal is it? Probably not. Furious Bowcaster. If the target has no protection, reset the cooldown. So, okay. All of those Omegas, optional.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this probably not important unless you're going after gas or something.
Yeah, I don't think I have it on my Chewbacca.
Mm-hmm. And then Han Solo, I have all of his except for the basic, which is this seemed pretty good.
It's good,
but I don't know. Yeah, it's a good one. I just am waiting on. I want to. That's a bottleneck for me. The Omegas. The same thing with C-3PO. I've got a whole slew of them, and 3POC, whatever you want to call them. I have a whole slew I haven't done yet.
Yeah.
Sorry, we'll relic Chewbacca. I think he needs relic 6 or I'm pretty sure he needs relic 6 or the JML.
Well, don't do it just because I would do it. I mean, do it if you want that character as a relic. I mean, that's.
Well, I had a whole list. I was going to do even more in this video. So, because I was thinking we could put just relic levels on Bosk. I just feel like I have the relic mats, and now I'm not worried about bloat. So why not?
Okay.
But let's look first of all at the Galactic Legend thing here. So what my thought process is if I'm gonna need to have him at relic 6 eventually, I don't feel bad about putting him at relic 6 now. Because I'm gonna go after this character. Similarly, this is my thought process, whether it's valid or not, I don't know. I think you need Bosk at relic 5 here, so why not just throw him a relic 5 now? I got a better Houndstooth.
All right.
That's my thought. These are good characters. I got plenty of relic mats. All right, we'll do that with Chewbacca. Hold on. Ironically, I have more of this stuff, it seems like, than purple binoculars. Okay. All right. We'll put him at relic 6. That should make this team a lot better.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
It'll help me get over that 3.4 something million, barrier, which is one of the things I was trying to accomplish anyway. Although I imagine by bringing up over the next day or two, I'm going to try to bring up some Rebel ships as well. That will probably help as in addition, but still, activating some of those ships.
I feel like you got to be close to 3.4 already.
I'm at 3.35 something right now.
Okay.
So we're not that far, but I'm pretty sure the new, is it chromium? I don't even remember what it is.
Yeah, chromium is the tier with 4 ships.
So that's how I figured. Might as well try to hit it here. Okay, so see Chewbacca to Relic 6. Okay.
Beautiful.
And then there we go. So now
Bosk.
Bosk, yep. We already got him at Relics. Or at Relic 0, so then we could just apply those here. Whoops. I screwed up. Sorry about that.
No problem. Click. Micro grenade launcher.
Yeah. You don't really get to see that much in the movie, do you? You just get much of it. He gets like what? He's only around for a second. See, there you go. It's a requirement. Okay. Well, that's gonna make my Houndstooth a lot better. Well, I'm curious, what fleet would you use the Houndstooth with? Because he's kind of a floater, right? I have Finalizer, Negotiator, and Malevolence built now, and then I got Rebels kind of be my trashy 4th fleet. Filler fleet. I don't know.
Yeah, we could go to your ships for a second and just take a look. I don't know if you saw my update video from today, but basically because I don't really have a good routing on 4 fleets myself, what I'm looking to do, I'll have a good negotiator fleet. I'll keep the negotiator stuff with the negotiator. All right, that's fine.
Right, good Galactic Republic, yeah. So this I'm pretty in good shape, I feel like, with this.
Yeah, so that's kind of a gimme. I would say I never put Plo with this fleet.
Yeah, you need him with like Finalizer to cleanse or something like that.
Yeah, I do. Or with basically, if the opponent has a Malevolence, it goes in whichever fleet I use to beat the Malevolence. So I float that as a reinforcement on my offense.
Mm-hmm.
So you've got Finalizer.
There's my Finalizer, and then I've got. We've already seen my Separatists. We saw that today. There's that, and then I've got these various ships, right? So the Rebel fleet's a little sad. I can bring these guys up to 7 stars, but this I'm going to activate, right? I now have a G12 and a Relic 6 pilot.
Well, you've got the Rebel Y-Wing ready to go, too.
Yeah, so that's my thought. Over the next day or two, I'll bring these 2 up, and this will be, a usable fleet. It's not going to be awesome, but I could throw it out there, and I think an opponent's going to have to use something reasonably serious to defeat it.
Yeah,
that's my thought process. I'd still use Home 1 even though it's low gear. I thought.
I'll tell you this: at 4 million galactic power, most people don't have 4 fleets as good as you'll have. You'll have a massive advantage in fleet, and it'll help you.
That was my attempt. Yeah. That's what I've been hoarding.
You'll be in good shape. Even this Rebel fleet with these ships that you've got here is going to be a fantastic 4th fleet. Issue there. I think the best place for your Houndstooth then, if you don't want to use it with the negotiator, which you don't need to because you got the BTLB. So I might actually then do what we talked about earlier. I might throw that Houndstooth in place of that Hyena Bomber and use the Hyena Bomber as a second reinforcement. Bring your spy in first to try to get that kill, and then bring the Hyena Bomber in as your second reinforcement. Or you can actually just put the Houndstooth in there, do the normal starting 3 with the Hyena, Sunfac, and Vulture. And if you're using the Malevolence on offense and you're in control, then having the Geospy and the Houndstooth both in reinforcement. If you start to lose a bunch of your ships, you bring in the tank. Otherwise, you bring in the spy and stay on the offensive. So
it gives me optionality. I like that. I call it optionality, right?
Yeah. So you either use the Houndstooth there in the starting or as a reinforcement.
Sometimes I like to have the Houndstooth with my finalizer fleet as well because, it's all about keeping this guy alive and getting assists. And so sometimes if things are going badly, you can throw the Houndstooth there and it'll distract everyone.
Yeah, take a look at Cassian's U-Wing for a second.
Yeah, so that's one I got. What happened was I farmed up the shards, but these are just like hyperdrive bundle characters. I have never really put any effort into these three.
Sure, no problem. Look at the skill up by the robot.
Here?
No,
up by the robot.
Yeah, that one. I think that's the one we want.
Tenacity down.
Nope, that's not the skill. Let's look at the one that's by Generso.
Spell all debuffs, so that's nice.
Okay, so Cassian's U-Wing for me, I bring that in as the first reinforcement almost all the time, and it's my murder ship. The reinforcement skill clears all of the buffs off the opposing team, which can all get rid of taunts and make whatever you want available.
That's nice.
And then the skill by Cassian calls an assist, and of course you're going to call that assist and call the TIE Silencer to assist and do monstrous damage. Now let's say something happens unexpected, get bad RNG or something happens that you don't expect, and the silencer is almost dead and debuffed and like whatever. Then I bring this in and use that skill by Jen Urso and just clear off all of his debuffs and stick him under stealth.
Wow.
He's got so much lifesteal that the next time he goes, he's going to get a bunch of health back as long as he doesn't have healing immunity or anything on him. Mm-hmm. So this Cassian's U-Wing for me is the Swiss Army knife. And when I use the First Order fleet, I use the Special Forces TIE, the shuttle, and the silencer as the starting three. I use Cassian and Plo as reinforcements, and that's pretty much the 5 ships I always use. A lot of times I'll throw the other the First Order TIE in there just in case I need another damage dealer. But yeah, this Cassian's U-Wing with the finalizer fleet, to me, this is how I made the finalizer fleet work for me. It wasn't that great until I figured this gimmick out, and then I can kill Negotiator, Malevolence, whatever I want to kill. And this Cassian's U-Wing is kind of the key to that.
Wow. Well, you have to have that fleet on offense, so that's really helpful to know. Because I do struggle with that. I use Plo. It's just often not enough against good, really struggles against Malevolence.
Yeah.
In particular with all those buzz droids.
Yeah, I've got a video up on my channel that shows basically me using the finalizer to beat like 3 different negotiators, 2 different Malevolences, and especially against the Rebel fleet. The finalizer just makes a joke out of the Rebel fleet. Like you could have 550,000 Rebel fleet, like everything maxed, and literally I'll bring in 3 ships with the finalizer and 1 reinforcement and just laugh at it. It's
wow.
The finalizer kills the best Rebel fleet in the game without breaking a sweat. Because the extra turn meter, you get to go first, and you just kill the Millennium Falcon before it ever does anything. It's insane.
Wow, that's crazy. So, I guess for right now, I may not even hit the 3.4. I wonder if, I could go back to Relic levels. I could bring up one of these ships. Although, it's interesting. They do add to your galactic power even though they're not activated, right? So this is adding anyway.
No.
Oh.
No, it won't
so
add.
Maybe merely by activating these ships, I would be increasing my GP a little bit, but I would be, getting this fleet going, right?
Yeah, get the Rebel fleet going, but I would also get Cassian's U-Wing going for your finalizer fleet. And
So
again,
what
that's
will be
just
the priority? Because I've got, let's see, where am I on the ship mats here? That's the problem. I didn't store up enough ship mats apparently. Ship credits.
yeah. Well, it goes fast when you're leveling things up. It just sucks the credits out of the bank so fast.
For sure. So what's the highest impact of these? And I don't even know if I'll get it up fully, right?
Well,
3.3 may not be enough.
what I would probably do if I were you is I would probably put the Negotiator as my best defensive fleet and just use that as a defense. I would probably just use the Rebels as the other defense, and whatever it is, and I don't care, and the opponent's probably going to beat it.
Right.
And that leaves you with the Finalizer and the Malevolence on offense. And that way you can control your reinforcements with the Malevolence and figure out how to use that and work your way through the battles.
Makes sense.
So then the Cassian's U-Wing for me would be a big priority to get that going with your Finalizer fleet, to make sure that as your other offensive fleet, that you're going to be able to kill pretty much anything else that they put on defense.
All right, let's do that. We'll activate this.
And there's another reason to activate that I'll show you. So just focus on using your credits to get this thing to 7 stars.
Okay.
And then I'll show you another neat little trick that has absolutely nothing to do with GAC or fleet.
All right, this is interesting.
Okay. So you can just kind of go up to the skill by Cassian. I want to make sure, does that? Yeah, that already calls the assist. So if you wanted to, you could literally just leave this ship completely unleveled.
Unleveled up.
Yeah. You can't though, because you do want the reinforcement to be at level 3, and I think then you need to be level 75.
85.
No, 85. You need to be 85. So
I don't think I even can do it right now.
No,
while we're on this video.
No, you can't right now. So it's fine. Don't worry about it. All right, now leave this area entirely and go to your shops. 3397.
Where's that? Oh yeah.
If you unlock the Millennium Falcon, you're probably over.
All right,
okay, go
see.
to the Cantina fleet, Cantina shop. Now,
yeah.
So if you go to any other shop, they're always rationalized to give you 4 ship shards, and 4 ship shards converts to like 152 shards in the shard shop, and a 10-pack of characters is 150. So the ships are just slightly more efficient. But then over here, for no reason whatsoever, you get a 5th ship shard. So,
wow, I didn't see that. Yeah, so on these others, I'm only getting...
You're getting 4.
You only get 4. Wow.
Yeah. So for me, feeding the shard shop, you just always feed it with Cassian's U-Wing, because you get like an extra 37 shards or 38 shards or whatever it is. It's really a lot better conversion than any of the characters. So having that at 7 stars gives you like the most efficient shard shop feeding out of this shop for sure.
Interesting. All right, well that was worth it from that perspective alone.
Yeah, just a little tidbit. And
that is useful.
And now you can already put that in into your Finalizer fleet as a reinforcement. And when you can get that to 85 and get it to clear buffs, it's like a surgeon's scalpel. You just go in, take the buffs off, target what you want to kill, call the silencer to assist, and just smile. At least that's what I do. I smile.
I love it.
All right.
So let's see. Do we want to complete our mission here, right? Which is to get into the 3.4 something. Do we wanna? Do we wanna? Do I want to add maybe a little bit to Jolie? Do I want to bring up Ahsoka a little higher? I could try to just unlock Millennium Falcon. What do you think? Nest I could bring up to Relic 5. I could bring up even Shakti to Relic 7. These are some of the things I was considering.
If you don't know, Enfys Nest is one of my 2 favorite characters in the game, so if you ask me if you should put more relics on Nest, the answer to that is always going to be yes.
I was going to do 5. I know you've done, I think, 7, but look at this. I'm actually running out of these circuit boards.
I've done 8, and I've told people that the line for Relic 9 starts behind Enfys Nest. I'm tempted to put Relic 9 on her. Like, I love this character. You have no idea.
Wow. Well, I only have enough circuit boards to do 1 more level. So I've got to be really careful where I go with that, right? So, because everything, even Relic 8, requires the circuit boards, right?
If you're just looking for the GP, then I would go ahead and unlock that Falcon and just get that
done with it.
GP added to the account and get over the 3.4. And then I would just save those other relic materials, and you'll know when it makes sense to put them somewhere.
Wow.
You've obviously got a great grasp of the game already, so I mean you know where they should go.
I thank you. It's very kind. I've been playing, not as long. There you go. I'm very much over. I'm gonna be in the 4 fleet section here. And there we go. So what I guess in terms of, this is one I'll definitely be bringing up. And I'll just try to maximize this out before the next round starts.
Yeah, for sure. And you can buy fleet materials out of the squad store too. So if you don't want to spend crystals on those, you can just use your squad currency to get more fleet.
Yeah, it turns out I ran out of that before I ran out of prestige. Who would have thought? So
funny.
I guess I'm bringing up a lot of ships today. That's for sure.
Yeah, it goes fast. It really does.
A ship full of upgrades today. That's my stepdad joke of the day.
All right. Hey, I still think that was quite a bit of, 500,000 galactic power in one go is nothing to sneeze at. That's pretty serious business.
Thank you very much. I hope this was what I think, to me, what I think is fun about this is, even though I had a lot of resources to spend, a couple of things. I mean, first of all, we learned that there are bottlenecks for everybody. Okay, no matter how many resources you think you have. I encountered a bunch today: the binoculars, the syringes, the circuit boards, ship credits, regular credits. But also, I think both of us, and one thing I love about your content is focused on upgrading rationally and efficiently, and I think that was the goal here. And we tried to make them, even when we hit bottlenecks, we just made adjustments to our plan and did the best we could.
Yeah, no, I think that's exactly it. Put it where it's most effective. And I think that Relic Chewbacca kind of wasn't in the original plan so much, but I think you're going to be really happy with that CLS team just with those 2 relics. It's going to be punching through a lot of better teams with more relics. That team's really good, so you'll be happy with that.
I'm excited. To try some of these out. It's got some exciting upgrades tonight.
All right. Well, for sure we'll stay in touch, and I'll be curious to know how you're doing when the new Grand Arena system starts up, and I'm sure we'll talk again and follow up.
All right. Thanks again.
All right. Talk to you later.